Welcome back to another Ant on the Move video. Today we're going to talk about some pictures. So back in January of 2019, Bear the Combustion Gamer and I took a trip to New York City. It was my second time to the state of New York, first time to New York City. And so we're going to show a few pictures. I've got them here on my phone. We're going to pop them up over here on some side, probably on the side, so that you guys can see what I'm looking at. I got to find them on the phone first though. And we're going to talk about the things we saw. I'm going to talk about the things we saw in New York City. If I can find the pictures. Where'd they go? Where'd they go? They're there. So I have some videos on here too, but obviously I can't show you those. All right, so a few of the things that we saw. Let's explain one of the main reasons why we wanted to go to New York City first. One of the main things we wanted to see was the 9/11 Memorial and the museum that's there in New York City. Having grown up during the era of 9/11 and the things following that, it was something that I specifically wanted to see. Bear was much younger at the time, so he didn't remember things as well. He remembered seeing photos afterwards and kind of being reminded of it, but he didn't have a lot of first-hand knowledge of that experience. But even though he didn't, he wanted to see what that looked like as well. So we went to see the 9/11 Memorial. I'll put up some pictures here on the side, what we saw. That was one of the main things we wanted to see. The second thing, specifically, we had a couple things that's like, if we can see them, great. If we can't, okay. Because we were only there for technically 3 days. We were there half a day on Tuesday, all day Wednesday, all day Thursday, and then just for a few hours on Friday before we had to go to the airport, which was a fiasco in and of itself. Who decides to fly to New York City during a government shutdown? Well, I did, not knowing that was going to happen, but it was during the government shutdown, so we got delayed, hoping we could, make our connecting flight in Atlanta. Thankfully we did, but it made it interesting. But so that was the first thing, was 9/11 Memorial. The second thing for sure we wanted to see, and it's a Florida thing. We wanted to see Space Shuttle Enterprise. Now, the Intrepid Air and Space Museum is now the home of the Shuttle Enterprise. Enterprise was the kind of like the test shuttle. It never went to space, but it was used to test the glider capabilities of the shuttle, to make sure the shuttle would be able to glide under, with no power happening, no thrust, nothing happening, to be able to glide safely to land back at either the Kennedy Space Center, White Sands, New Mexico, or Edwards Air Force Base. So that was its purpose. And after a few years the shuttle program started, got going, it was sent to, I believe, the Smithsonian in Washington. Following the ending of the space shuttle program, things got mixed up a little bit, and Atlanta stayed in Florida. Enterprise was removed from the Smithsonian. Discovery replaced it, and so Enterprise was able to go to New York City, to the Intrepid Air and Space Museum. The other shuttle, Endeavour, was sent to a museum in Space Museum in California. I forget the name of that one, but that's where they all ended up. And so that was something we wanted to see. I had never seen Enterprise because it had been at the Smithsonian, and I haven't had a chance to go to the Smithsonian yet. And so that was something interesting that I wanted to see. And so that was the second thing for sure we wanted. The other thing was, I was looking for like a place to get like a snack or something very New York food-like. And so we went to, what's it called? Underwater West Donuts. It is a donut shop that is inside a car wash. Like literally you walk past the car wash. It's a drive-through car wash. There's the cars being washed. You walk into this little area and there's donuts. I think they were about like $3 a piece. Crazy amount for a donut. But they tasted very good. It was a fun experience, so it made it worthwhile. The other thing we wanted to see, I'm trying to remember, Bear wanted to see the Fox News, a channel. He just wanted to be able to see where, we've heard about the news channel for years. I think I've driven past the CNN. We've driven past the CNN one in Atlanta, I believe, but he wanted to see where Fox News was, so we went and did that. Of course, we saw the Rockefeller Center. I mean, it's iconic. It's in so many movies, so it's worth stopping by there. There was a cool Lego store, so we went into the Lego store quickly. I think I bought a magnet. was interesting. We saw the Raging Bull of Wall Street. Oh, I wish I had more time. The New York City Library. I wish I'd had more time to spend there. It looks so interesting. So many floors, so many books. But we got in there we were still carrying our backpacks around for some reason. We hadn't been to the hotel yet, and we just didn't really have time to spend finding a section. I didn't know enough about the library to know like which section to go to for what type of books. So I'm disappointed about that. If I ever went to New York City again, I would definitely spend more time going through the New York Library. It looks so interesting. So many books and so quiet, people sitting and reading, and I just think it'd be fun to do that again. So if I go back, that's another thing I'll do. What else do we see here? These pictures are a little bit limited. Something else that I wanted to see was the Titanic Memorial Lighthouse. Now, few people know that there is actually a lighthouse. It was built actually on a building, so it's just kind of a light on top of a building being a beacon. But it was built in memorial for the Titanic, since that was supposed to be Titanic's destination coming across the Atlantic. It was supposed to drop off its passengers, the New York City elite, there in New York City. So that was interesting to see. I forget what harbor number it's near. I don't see. It's on Water Street, right along the water. So if you can find Water Street, you'll be able to find it. It's really, really interesting to see. There's also a cool boat. I don't have a picture of the boat anywhere, but there's a neat boat that was docked there. A big masted sailing ship boat, whatever the right nautical term is, that was there. That was very interesting to be able to see. Sadly, it was closed. If it had been open, I probably would have gone on it. Boats are kind of interesting. I don't want to sail on one, but they're interesting to look at, go on board. So I would have, but they weren't open at the time, so we didn't get to do that. Something else that, if you're going to New York City, you got to try the food that's there. And so Bear got to try Junior's New York cheesecake. I think he tried just a normal New York style cheesecake and then a brownie overload cheesecake. I'm not a big fan. I helped him eat the one basic cheesecake, and then it's like, you're on your own for the overload one. Go for it. We tried a cheap pizza from the dollar pizza places. That was really good. I mean, we ate a huge pizza one night. We hadn't eaten really all day. We tried hot dogs, of course, and then we had pizza. It was awesome. It was fun. Something else I'm very glad we were able to see now that it's sadly been shut down on Broadway was Frozen the musical. I had come across a video online of Casey Levy singing one of the songs, and I was just like, wow, this is, I haven't really watched the movie that much, but this looks like an interesting one. If I'm going to see a Broadway musical, I kind of know what the plot line is of this one, and I'm okay with it, so it would be worth watching. So we got to watch that. I bought tickets day of. Now, looking back, I realized that wasn't a good thing I was able to buy tickets day of, but we did get to orchestra level tickets. I've never sat in the orchestra before. First Broadway type show. I've been to some other shows, but not in the orchestra. First Broadway show. It was amazing. It was just fun to watch. For me, it's not even the story, but watching the synchronization, watching how everyone is working together to pull it off, and how you have to get it right the first time. And so I found that to be amazing. Just really enjoyed it. I've been to a few other off-Broadway type shows since then, small theater shows, and have enjoyed that. The part I enjoyed the most, it's kind of sad to say that, but being able to stand at ground zero and get to see where history took place, something that I remember watching on the news, a part of American history that happened when I was alive to remember it. Like, there's other events that have taken place, but I don't remember them, and that's such a pivotal Pearl Harbor type moment, being able to stand there and see where it took place. Being reminded of those who sacrificed their lives, sacrificed their well-being, even afterwards. People who came in not knowing the risk from all the dust, all the powder that was in the air, who willingly came in to look for survivors. That's amazing. And I'm grateful for those people who risked their lives to try to find others, to bring back mementos to family members so that they had something to remember their loved ones by. That was interesting to see, and definitely enjoyed it. So Though I know New York City is closed right now, who knows when it's going to be reopened. Things are going to definitely be very different in New York City into the future. So I'm glad I was able to go and visit New York City in 2019. This year would not have been so good, so I'm glad it happened last year. But if you're interested in any knowing what else we saw, a link down below, you'll be able to find my Instagram account and see some of the pictures that I put up from that time. I'll try to put some more up when this video goes up. So thanks for watching. Tune in next time for the next Ant on the Move video, where who knows what we're going to be doing. But that's the fun part, because we are on an adventure. Not adventure, ant adventure. So I hope you tune in next time. If you aren't following, please follow if you want to know what we're doing. I don't even know what we're doing, but if you want to find out when it happens, follow me, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.